Warning, the following broadcast, starring two of the 5 more uneducated members of the mediocre chart racing pop rock band Massive Wagons, may contain swearing. We apologise if it causes offence. All opinions are our own.
Boom.
Is this where I throw you a fish?
Why?
Because you just clapped.
Yeah, I do this thing now. I'm a professional videographer where I do the whole clap. We actually have a slate, don't we, somewhere?
We do have one, yeah.
Yeah.
Where the hell's that gone?
It's for, if you wondered what they were for, like those, video slates where they go, marker, and then they have like a little, the clap thing. It's so they can synchronise the audio. It's not just for...
some ego thing.
They can synchronise the audio to the sort of visual clap. Visual sort of noise, and it also has all the kind of relevant shot information.
We should do, being as how this is the Triggered podcast, one week we should do one where we are slightly out of sync with our mouths.
Oh, it's a nightmare.
Just to wind folk up.
We first started doing all this content bollocks a few years ago. It's like, you think it'd just be easy. It's not, especially when you're trying to, if you want to deliver the certain high quality that you learn that you've come to expect.
That being
from
said,
us,
if you're out at 3 o'clock in the morning digging holes in the road,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. Yeah.
I'm only joking.
I'd rather be doing this, but we've actually got some new microphones coming next week. So if
SE Mags.
SE microphones.
You're watching. It's anyone from SE Mics who's watching.
Hooking us up.
Yeah.
They do make good microphones. If you're into that kind of stuff, check them out because they're very good.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is the
sweet and sour chicken balls, 2 egg fried rice, and a portion of chips. A can of Tizer, please. Do you want one?
We've got I'll have a iron brew, please.
An iron brew. Yeah, cheers, mate.
With our Chinese takeaway decor.
We need to get a Chinese take. We need to get a menu. A menu. I think it was meant to me laugh like Chinese restaurants. A lot of them. They just like it'll be like rough sellotaped to the fucking.
Yeah,
wall,
they don't give a shit, do they?
They don't fucking care, do they?
No.
Which is how you sort of walk in and judge how your food's got to be made, really based on.
It's the inverse though. I find if you go in and it's like dead swanky. They've got like they use like nails to put their menu on the wall. The food's going to be rubbish.
Laminated. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no. It's got to be like yellowing.
Is that your tip of the week?
It's been up since the like 70s, and
If you walk into a Chinese and then the menu is laminated and blue tacked to the wall, walk straight back out again.
No. I think it's. Oh yeah, I see what you mean.
If it looks a bit swish.
If it looks a bit swish, yeah. There's a great one. We went to a Chinese takeaway in Ulverston a few weeks ago, and
it's a long way to go, isn't it?
Well, no, I was working up there, and it was like a proper throwback. You go in and the waiting area. There's it's about like a yard square, and there's about 15 people in there. You're all sort of all right.
But that's a good one then, don't
and
you?
you're exactly, and I did think like I've not been into one like that for a long time, but it was amazing. Amazing.
They're like a time capsule Chineses, aren't they? They're Chinese restaurants. They're a proper throwback, and
yeah.
They're like they look exactly the same for the 80s, 70s. Well, I wasn't born in the 80s, so I wouldn't know. The 80s, 90s, 2000s. They're just the same, aren't they? It's this, isn't it? And like, well, you can't see. It's just out of shot. I'm not going to move the camera because we'd spent about a full 15 minutes trying to get this bloody shot square. But we have got like an odd-shaped rectangle window that serves no purpose.
Yeah.
Above head height. I mean. I don't know why they all have them in, don't they? Stuff
maybe
like that.
Maybe we'll reveal it in a future podcast. But
the window,
and if you can't see us, if you're listening just on an audio version, then just imagine a Chinese takeaway. And that's what it looks like.
It's like a ginormous letterbox.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, it's about 15 minutes of the podcast.
Talking about Chinese. Right. Well, yeah. What are we talking about today? You've got a great one, I think.
Welcome to the Trigger podcast. I'm Bazzies, Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a good one today. Here we are, I'm just out of it. There we go. Get me faithful reading tablet. We're old mate Freddie. Freddie's a good friend of ours. Freddie works with our band. If you don't know, if you watch this podcast and you've got no idea who we are, we're in a band, oddly enough, called Massive Wagons. And, we've been going a while, and we have a lot of what goes hand in hand with being in a band. Unfortunately for us personally, is artwork. And it has to be good, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. It's a big part of what you do. Your artwork, your album art, T-shirt, merch, online stuff. It has to be good. We're all right at writing songs and stuff, but when it comes to designing artwork,
debatable.
If you check out our early albums, we have no business being in a successful band, to be honest with you, because it's dreadful. But then we meet people like Freddie along the way, and these people are good at this sort of stuff, and we'll get them on board. Anyway, Freddie's thrown his hat in the ring with something I think is Something I never thought about, and something I think after reading his comment is really quite valid and is quite shocking. Really, it needs sorting out. It's a bit a long one.
It's a good one though.
It's a good one. Now it's AI art. Is that artificial intelligence?
Artificial intelligence. Artificial igloos.
Artificial igloos art. He's put AI art on as something I've been thinking about increasingly over the last week. First of all, I have no problem with how it works. Good man. I think it's great for those who need artwork and have ideas but no way of being able to create that themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know that.
Yeah, I get
that. But what happens to us artists when the time of AI comes, as AI is likely the future, being easy and cost effective? That's fair enough, yeah. The issues: how will artists earn money from their work? Mm-hmm. Will people still want to use us? How much of the art is down to the human element? I mean, the current version of AI is flawed. AI samples images from artists without permission.
Ooh, yeah, well,
that's great. Not just taking data, but taking a lifetime of dedication and putting it into a program just to spit out some amalgamation that's supposed to mimic human expression. All of my work could be being sampled without permission, and there's nothing I can do about it. Current AI was trained on the non-consensual use of people's work and copyrighted material. No laws to protect artists, and no compensation. Is the answer to work with artists? Is it legal? Is it illegal? And should it be out on the public domain?
Bloody hell, Freddie.
I tell you what, he's pissed off. He is fucking pissed off.
He is. He's a big
lad as well.
It's a little bit above our pay grade, that.
Anyway, this is what we have to think about it.
Well,
a couple of non-artists and a guy who wants a Commodore 64.
Right, okay,
let's go.
Okay, well...
But
there's a lot to unpack there, isn't there? But,
you can apply that to other things, can't you? Because you somebody else on the post, our friend Lauren, you actually said it before. I read her coming out that music is very similar. Do you do it in music as well? Don't you?
Yeah, well, this is something that you see from an audio point of view, where AI is starting to. Well, it's not starting to at all. There's been a online automatic mastering services. The biggest one is a company called Lander, and they offer this thing where you upload your stereo wave file, and then it's an artificial intelligence kind of process, and it masters your music for you.
Right.
Okay, right. And then spits it out and gives it back, and that's been around for about 10 years. But
interesting.
I will say that in the kind of 10 years that's existed, I have never met any band of a professional working band of a level who've ever used it. They always use somebody,
a person. That's good to know, isn't it? I didn't know that. That was
it's the thing. Yeah, and now that's just mastering. So basically, that is the process of taking the final mix and then applying processing to that. Just the stereo file.
That.
Yeah, it's the Salt Bay thing. Yeah, it is. It's the Salt Bay. They do just a bit of seasoning. Bit of this and that, here and there. Salt Bay. He gets his own podcast in a bit. But the but now they're talking about mixing. So basically, exactly, artificial intelligence mixing, where one would assume you give them the individual audio files like snare drum, kick drum, this guitar, that guitar, vocal, and then the same thing. The same kind of process is applied, and now it's at the moment. I don't think anyone has anything to worry about that, because that is like
it can't be advanced, can it? It can't do the same job. Surely to God, he must have to work to a formula, doesn't he?
Exactly. Well, this is it. This is what I don't.
And that just limit. So limited, isn't it?
Well, this is what Freddie touches upon. Right. There's two angles to it. So there's the creative side of it, where what's it doing to the art form itself, and then he goes on to the other side that I'd never really considered, which is the legal side, which is like, they are basically just taking.
Explain to me for an idiot, and all the idiots watching. Not that there's probably many, just me. You basically you have an idea for a drawing or an piece of artwork. You enter what piece of information you have, whatever that may come from, and then that program then takes information and ideas and bits and pieces of other people's artwork all over the internet and applies it to your drawing.
Artwork.
I'm
I'm not massively clued up on the artwork side of things, but yeah, I think that's it. But that to me is like, well, what is artificial intelligence then? Because I thought it's got to basically create its own kind of decisions at a kind of fundamental level to be sort of artificial intelligence. Otherwise, you're basically making all the decisions, and then I want to see Genghis Khan surfing on Mars or whatever. And then it's like that's then going to take all those things, and then you say in the style of Salvador Dali or whatever.
I mean, are these interpretations of artwork? Are they entered in? Are they pre-programmed into a program, or does it genuinely take stuff from the internet? Like, for instance, you can get apps and stuff where you can download into the app a picture of your face and then make it look like Van Gogh painted it.
Yeah,
but is that what he's talking about?
I think it,
or is it something else, or is it something that's roaming the internet? Or I mean, he says that his art could be being sampled. I mean, I don't know. Does that mean somebody else has gone to seen his artwork before? It's like a preconceived thing where they've entered it into a program, or does it operate on the internet where it can?
In all honesty, I don't know. I really don't know. To be honest, I wasn't even until you saw all these pictures of like cavemen taking selfies. Do you know what I mean? Have you seen them? Like people type in that they want to see that, so they type this in, and then it spits out like a caveman taking a selfie, on the beach or something. With all these caveman pals around him,
dinosaurs and stuff.
Yeah, and to me, while it's kind of novel in a sort of consumer level where a bit like Snapchat filters and all that sort of stuff. It's just funny. People like seeing that. Freddie
did mention a band in his comment, and good friends of ours. I'm not going to mention the band because, and Freddie says that it's nothing about the band using, nothing against the band for using it, because it's interesting and it's a different way of doing, and you can't criticise people for using it because it's out there and it's free to use. And their artwork subsequently looks amazing. I think it looks great. What they've done with it looks incredible.
Well, the band in question, knowing them, I would have said, I would have thought that they're doing this for it's part of their. It's part of the point,
quite possibly.
Part of the point they're trying to make. I'd be interested to talk to them about it. But I think that was a kind of conscious, creative decision in itself to use to
be different, or to make a point,
to maybe make a point. Use AI to do that.
Quite interesting. Yeah.
But right, I think the worry from someone like Freddie, who does this for a living, he's talking about. This process is essentially going to take work away from artists like Freddie.
Yeah. Well,
and my personal opinion is I can't see it really
being that much of a threat.
No, not really.
I mean, legalities are legalities, no matter how small it is. I mean, surely, artists should be compensated, shouldn't they? If there is theft going on, or there is some sort of nefarious business going on, then no matter how small it is, there should be. It shouldn't be, should it? They should be sorted out. It shouldn't happen, should it? But I agree. When you said about the mastering thing, is it really a threat, or is it only going to be used by people at home with?
Who
haven't got a lot of dosh, who are just like,
exactly. But
I can't see big bands ever.
Like in any technology, these advances, all they do is they deal with the low level jobs first, if you know what I mean.
It's a bit of a novelty, isn't it?
They kind of take the low level jobs away, and all this kind of thing does is, and I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing, but it kind of creates a wider gap between the people doing it, at one level, nearer the kind of bottom, and then the top people are suddenly worth more.
You've got to realise, well, like we very quickly realised as a band that if you are operating, when you're operating when you start out, it's all right getting your mates to do this or to do bits and pieces yourself. But if you want to be taken seriously and you want to really be good, then you really have to invest and you really have to get.
Yeah,
there's no substitute for spending money and getting the right people on the job. So artificial intelligence art to us, it wouldn't even be an option, because it's like, let's get somebody we can talk to, discuss ideas, get some designs made, and it's proper. innit?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, musicians. I'm not an artist, so I'm approaching this subject
What
really.
kind of artist you talking about?
Yeah, but approaching this subject from our perspective as musicians and songwriters and performers, then you know. You can't get musicians. They're so stubborn to change. You know, there's people out there that still use technology from the bloody 60s and 70s because they swear it's.
Yeah, it sounds better.
Yeah, so you know, I just can't see.
And also, it's a small world, the music business, isn't it? And it is very supportive, and you wouldn't want to put. They're all your friends, aren't they? You know, you wouldn't want to put them out of work. We made effort to use the same people and to give people work. And last thing I think a lot of musicians, most ones I know anyway, wouldn't want to put fellow sort of music industry types out of work, would they?
Well,
really.
Well, this is it. If from an art point of view, anything I've seen hasn't really been. And again, I'm not really that well versed in the art side. I'm more in the audio, but you know, even on the art side, I haven't seen anything that's kind of mind blowing. All the best artwork is. And anything creative
comes from over here.
It does. I think you need the human element. You know, you need
clear off, Arnie.
It's a second, like with the artwork. So right, you tell the AI, you have to give it a brief, like you give an artist a brief. However, the AI, I imagine, only it sticks to that brief and it does not deviate from it because it is not. It's kind of currently not.
There are parameters. There are lines. There are walls. I am not a If you know me at all, I ain't technologically versed, if you like. But I can't see anything that anything like that. It has parameters. It has walls. It has limits.
Yeah,
it absolutely has. It doesn't matter how far away they are. They are there.
Yeah, exactly.
Be your mind.
It leaves no wiggle room or for that kind of inspiration.
Eventually,
from
it'll hit a wall. Won't
it? And you want that. You know, we use artists like Freddie because we want their. It's not like we go do this. You know, don't deviate from these boundaries. Basically, just do. We've got the idea. You make it happen. I mean, I'm sure that does happen out there, but the vast majority of creative people, I think you should allow this second approach to whatever you're creating, whether it's the music. You know, this is why.
That's why it takes a long time to find artists and that you like working with, because you kind of have an idea about their sort of. You give them a brief, and you know, you like how they operate outside of your instruction. Yeah. You know that 9 times out of 10, we work with another guy called Mark Leary, who's done loads of our work. Is it Asylum
77?
Asylum 77, amazing bloke. And we know that we say, right, okay, well, we've got this T-shirt. Here's the name of the song. Here's a basic idea, and we know that what he comes back with will be far out and will be potty. But we're pretty 99% sure every time he sends one back, it'll be like, yeah, that's
it's always
a style, man.
It's exciting because it's like when you get the things back from artists, you want to see you don't basically just want to go. Very rarely is it like, that is exactly what I had in my head. Perfect. It's usually like, wow, I did not think of that. You know, that
exactly. Yeah.
That angle is like something I never would have thought of.
Yeah, which is kind of applies to our songwriting really as well, doesn't it? You've said before you come up with a song and then give it to me, and sometimes the less idea you give me, the better.
Yeah.
And then you come up with words and you go, well, I didn't have that melody in my head, all them words, but it works really well.
Yeah,
exactly.
Know,
and it's like this is.
Yeah, well, anything creative, especially with art, music, and they tie together when it comes to, you know, album covers, because I believe it is tied into the music. It shouldn't be an afterthought. It should be part of the package. But, you know, I just think that it's, you know, it's the sum of many small decisions rather than a couple of big ones at the end. Do you know what I mean? You can't just go, I want this and this, put them together. It is the sum of a vast amount of small decisions, which you cannot. I find it hard to believe you'll ever be able to replicate that with artificial intelligence.
We put together a bit of a video, haven't we, for our patrons on Wagons World of the process of coming up with the album cover for Triggered. It's massive.
Yes,
massive, isn't it? Massive. There must have been there must be nearly 200 versions of that
Yeah.
album cover from start to finish. When it starts off with 8 or 9 totally different versions, and you get 2 or 3 that are similar, then you get one, and then it goes through all
Refine
these
that,
different
yeah.
flipping ideas, and then eventually you get towards the end and you're changing minor details, aren't you? But eventually you come to the end, don't you? But
And it's still crap.
and it's still awful.
No, I'm only joking. But that is, I don't think we ever put as much thought into that album cover as we had done, And again, it was the sum of a few opinions and a few different angles, and it just, I don't know. I don't know how you'll be able to get that out of AI. Really,
No, I don't either.
it's a deep process. It's like I guess it depends on your attitude towards it all. I personally, because I'm a nerd and like a music lover like you are, these things matter. They're important.
Of course they are, yeah.
Looking at album covers as a kid, all like Rodney Matthews, ones, and
Yeah, well, Rising is a massive one, isn't it?
yeah,
You look at them for hours and spot different things.
exactly.
Can't you?
It's I don't think Freddie's obviously coming at it from where he is, but I can't see us ever going
No.
that route. So, and I don't think we'll be the only.
I don't think it'll take. I think your job's safe, Freddie. I think your job's safe. I don't think it'll take over. I think it'll get to a point and it'll be a bit of a novelty, won't it? And few people might use it, but I don't know. I don't see it being a major threat. But yeah, I understand how you're worried about your money and legalities and stuff. It's
well, that is something.
What did I say? I mean, I wrote, should it be? Is the answer to work with the artists? Should these programs?
Well,
Talk to artists and work on it.
That's a great point. And to be honest, that's what that's what I was about to say. Like I guess the way isn't as an artist isn't to sort of shun all this. Keep an eye on it, and if it does get to the point where it's a little bit, it's more prominent, then see how you can have a piece of that. Maybe because at some point there's got it's going to end up being all these things are going to get worked out. Like you mentioned, the licensing, licensing artwork and styles. You can't do that forever. It will end up, having to be kind of squared away with the legalities of it all.
Yeah.
So then, when at that point, then get involved with it. Be like, well, how do I license my art to these?
Yeah, these people
to these apps or whatever.
Money.
Make some dash out of it.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I would just say, just keep doing what you're doing and keep focusing on your craft and getting better and better and making that invaluable and irreplaceable. That's kind of the way.
Which is what Freddie has done. Freddie's a young guy. How old is he? 19, 20 now? And he's already, he's done he did Triggered. He did all the artwork for Triggered, for all the vinyls and all the different versions. He's done God knows how many T-shirts for us and stuff.
Yeah.
The guy's on a great road. He's really driven, and that's what you need to be, innit? You need to be. You almost need to take. You need to. Although you might think it's wrong, you should be recompensed, and this is illegal, and that you should take something from it to drive you even further, shouldn't you? And think, well, you know what, fuck them. I'm gonna be better, bigger and better.
Yep.
You can't let it win.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's I don't think it's going to be quite the thing that people are making it. It's when it comes to creative industries, the human element is something that
There's so much more.
You can't replace it.
You can't. You can talk to people, can't you? You can talk to people and get ideas. It's just much more human, isn't it? It's better. It's better. The fuck was I sit in front of a computer? I don't know. It doesn't appeal to me anyway.
No. Well, it's a fledgling kind of. Is that the word? Fledgling.
You just use it.
I'll just use it. Pretend I know what I mean. It's like emerging. So it will advance, and I'm sure get more sophisticated. But I think if it ever got to a point where it is genuinely a threat to the likes of Freddie, or AI songwriting, is a threat to the, well, maybe not to the likes of us, because it's probably already beating us. But it's. I don't think. I don't know. I just can't see it. And I'm quite a cynical person as well. So. It's quite. I just think the human side of it is too big.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Yeah, Anyway, there you go, Freddie. That's that covered, isn't it? Eh? Hope you can sleep a bit better at night now.
Yeah.
To be honest.
For what it's worth, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't.
It is sad to see. It is, and on a slightly wider note, it is sad to see in this country the arts in general. It always seems to get the boot, doesn't it? It's always this. It's not important, or it's people use it a lot more and get enjoyment from it, but don't always feel the need to support it as much. You know, when something comes up in the news about the arts, it's always a bit of a laughing stock, or let's shut a venue down, or fuck it, you know.
Well, it's the thing, like.
It's not important, is it? It's just some. Yeah, it's just.
Well, I think that comes back from. I think that just goes right back to school with music lessons.
Oh,
what it was like for
God.
you? It was
Shite. There's no such thing.
Well, look, and they were just even within the school,
garbage.
it was almost seen as a bit of a joke.
It was.
Forget about it. You know, don't worry about your music lesson.
Drama. I wasn't into drama, but drama, and music. Yeah. The art was great. Drawing and painting, that kind of thing was always taken seriously. But music was a joke. I used to walk into my classroom. It was a classroom. It was well equipped. It had drum kits and flipping. Everybody had a keyboard. You go and sit behind your keyboard. That's what a teacher didn't do out. You just sit at front of class and go, there you go, no, fuck about, do that.
Yeah.
Nothing. We never taught anything. Went for guitar lessons at school as well. It was an absolute waste of time. A waste of time.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. Shite.
Yeah. No, they're
sad.
Yeah, it is, and I think it stems from then. And then people grow up and they're told, "Oh, go get a real job.
Yeah.
Stop wasting your time." It's always seen as a bit of a kind of, hobby. It's pure hobby music, whether you're playing an instrument or whatever. No, I'm not saying everyone, but and then you grow up, and even now, people ask what I do for a living, and I'm almost embarrassed to say musician, because they instantly, you could see it happen in their head. You could see, right, well, this guy clearly still lives with his parents.
He's got fucking no money in bank.
Well, they will be. It's not all inaccurate, but they
I know what you mean. This guy's a loser.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You see that, right? Well, this guy clearly hasn't grown up. Well, this guy clearly has got serious issues.
Yeah.
Which,
sad,
they would be right, but and so it kind of starts then. And now people, when you go back to your point about the public and not valuing music, and you see it, like venues shutting down or whatever, and there's you see it on social media. There's people going, well, I'd much rather the money be spent elsewhere, or people will say like things like grow up, or well, don't, who cares? It's just a music venue. It's like, well,
and then go down the pub and watch a band.
Exactly.
Or go to the cinema, or go to a theatre.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a little bit.
Anyway, got a bit mad then.
Got deep.
Got a bit mad there, didn't we? Yeah. Cool. Anyway, Freddie, I hope that rounds that off for you. That was a good one. That was a good one. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And if anybody else wants to, we do have a page, the Triggered Podcast page. If anybody else, I do put a post out every. That's the universal sign for putting a post
Tommy
out.
Cooper.
We'll put a post out on our page every week or every other week, and find it and post your gripes on there, and we'll attempt to discuss them.
Yep. Drop a comment if you can, if you're on a platform that allows you to do so. And like and subscribe and all that jazz. Hit the bell.
Hit the bell.
Ding.
Too hard.
And we'll I guess talk to you next week.
See you next week.
Cheers, guys.
Keep on rocking.
Thank you.
Keep art free, real, whatever the phrase is.
Oh, hang on, forgot me clap.